Fred Bernardo to the Berks County Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, one of our members of the Berks County Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody.
How long have you been playing music?
Well, I started playing the guitar when I was 13 or 14, so that would make it over 50 years.
Mm-hmm. What inspired you to get involved and become a musician?
There was a lot happening right at that time. Music was really starting to break out. The Beach Boys, hearing guitar players on TV, Chet Atkins, Alvino Ray. Some of these names probably you don't know of. And I saw the Kinks one night. There were these rock and roll shows. I forget what they were called, but they were like teenage music shows, And Ricky Nelson, they had a show, The Nelson Family. Ricky Nelson was on there, and he would sing a song. He had a really cool guitar player who turns out to be James Burton, one of my idols, who played with many people through the years, including Elvis. So a lot was happening. I saw the Kinks on TV one night on one of these shows, and the dude had this V-shaped guitar. I said it in my little thing over here. He had this arrow-shaped guitar, and it made this grindy noise, and the girls were going crazy, and that was it.
So you picked up the guitar. That's your main instrument you play?
Yeah, I'm a guitarist.
Do you play any other instruments?
I play a little bit of pedal steel guitar as sort of like a second, but I'm a rhythm and blues electric guitar player.
Gotcha.
Pretty much a one-trick pony, sort of. But playing electric guitar is certainly it.
What bands have you played with?
Well, I played with quite a few through the years, especially the last 20 or 30 years, but I played with this band, Uncle Drew, that just did a bunch of reunions. That was a real popular band around here. And before that, I was on the road with a band called The Uproar from Lehigh Valley. And I was with a band called Stone Ground. It's funny because some of the Uncle Drew people were in this band Stone Ground, and that grew out of a soul band called The Incredible Showman. And as it turned into The Incredible Showman, I sort of had some rock chops. And I got hired. And then people went off to college, went off to the service, all kinds of things happened, and I saw that falling apart. And I auditioned for this really good band called The Uproar in the Lehigh Valley. Really, really, really good band. Way over my head. And about 1 million guitar players auditioned, and I got the gig. And I left, and I played almost every night for 2 years. Rarely a night off. Places I didn't even know where I was half the time. And that was sort of my summer of 42. And when you play every night like that, you get, it helps you. It helps you playing.
Sure.
So I kind of left an amateur and came back a professional a couple years later. And then we formed this Uncle Drew band. And then I've had various. I had this band Hurricane for maybe 10 years. But the last 20 years anyway, I've just been subbing with other bands. And I play shows. Like I played Jesus Christ Superstar with everything from a 5-piece rhythm section to the symphony orchestra at the Raya.
Wow.
I seem to get called for Jesus Christ Superstar. I used to get called for Godspell, but I stopped doing that. But Superstar I get called for. And then I've gotten called for Tommy, like I did 22 performances of Tommy here in town with a local theater group. And now I'm getting called for Rent. So if anybody does Rent, they usually call me.
Fantastic, yeah.
So I'm good at those, like the shows. I sort of do this as a little sideline. And, I sub with bands. Any kind of band. I played with Greek bands and soul bands, a lot of soul bands, because I was a soul guitar player. I played in soul bands before we got into rock. Yeah.
Do you have any music memories from like a show or anything that really stands out as like a wild night or
too many to list? Too many to list.
Yeah.
Wouldn't even know where to start. Every night was another one. Wouldn't know where to start. I will tell you something though from back in those formative years. I was playing soul music and I was in 11th or 12th grade. And I was in this like soul band, sort of soul band, but we played some rock songs and things in high school. And my buddy, who wasn't a musician, really liked reading these sort of teen music magazines from Britain. Like not hip hop, but like Top of the Pops or something. These. Anyway, and he said to me one day, if you want to play, you want to play rock and roll, you want to play blues, and you want to play like Eric Clapton. And I said, well, like, who's he? And he said, Eric Clapton. They said, Clapton is God, and da-da-da-da-da, and you should play like Eric Clapton. And one day he brought me a magazine, and he said, Eric Clapton in an interview said if you want to be a great blues guitar player, you got to eat soul food. So now I'm an Italian kid from Temple. I mean, I'm 100% Italian. I know I don't maybe look it, but trust me, I am as Italian as they get. And I went to my mom and said, like, hey, Mom, what's soul food? She had no clue. I mean, all she knew about was like spaghetti and meatballs and, peppers and onions and sausage and sausage and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we want to be a great blues guitar player. I never met Clapton live, but if I ever met him, I'd be asking him about that. But so I sort of play like Clapton, as it turns out, through the years. Maybe a little bit. People tell me I play like Clapton. I don't know. But Clapton was kind of a distant mentor, and Hendrix was a distant mentor, and there's been a bunch of them through the years, but those in particular. Clapton had staying power. A lot of the other ones came and went for one reason or another. So, but yeah, stories on gigs, wouldn't know where to start. Really wouldn't know where to start. Everything you could imagine. You just couldn't imagine the stuff. And I'm sure that other guys answered the same way, probably, right?
Yeah, we've had some fun stories so far.
Guys in the band jumping into the crowd, getting into fights. I played with a sax player one night that was throwing salt shakers at some of the patrons because he was getting bored or something. Just everything you can imagine. Fights. I hit two guys with my guitar. When I was on the road, they were like attacking us on the stage.
So you played in a lot of local venues, or
I think every venue around here.
Do you have a favorite?
No, but I can tell you that recently, Building 24 was a great place to see a band or to play. This Uncle Drew band, we played 3 or 4 sold-out shows over there. And that's kind of like our swan song. And that was around here the nice place to play. And certainly a great place to go hear a band. I mean, I went in there a lot. And I don't even go hear bands that often because it's parking hassles. And, half the time I'm not that crazy over the band anyway. But somebody really good, I'll chase them down. But Building 24 was a great place to go to see name acts. Like I saw Pat Martino. Pat Martino, if you know who he is, he's probably the greatest jazz guitar player that's ever lived. Casual friend of mine. And I've seen Pat there a number of times. And that around here, that's a good place. Well, they're not having bands anymore, I don't think, but at least not too often.
Do you have any advice for somebody that's trying to break into the music scene, get started as a musician?
Nope.
No?
Well, all I can tell you is, I think just about everybody wishes they could play the guitar. So I'll talk as a guitar player. And I've taught hundreds and hundreds of people to play, and my offshoots have taught hundreds or thousands. But I think most people wish they could play the guitar. Wouldn't it be great if you just pick it up and play the guitar? So, and it's a really, really easy instrument to play. So I would just encourage anybody, especially now, you can just look on YouTube. And right there in the lessons, it'll just teach you really easy. Anybody that's thinking about playing the guitar, go get a guitar. And it's not because I owned a music store, I'm retired now, so I don't own a music store anymore. So I'm no longer I'm not pitching guitars, but I'll pitch the guitar as a great instrument to play. You can accompany yourself singing. It's just easy. It's an easy instrument to play, So that would be my encouragement. And as far as playing with other people goes, it's always fun to play with other people. So if you find some other like-minded, doesn't matter how good they are on their instrument. I think it's more like-minded, people get together and play. It's still fun for me. I'm sure you've interviewed some of my buddies that have played with me. I see Mike Anderson's pictures on the wall there. We sat next to each other in first grade. We were in our first band together. We played the Magical History Tour show together. So our paths have crossed many times through the years. But Reading's a pretty good town. There's, as they go, places to play. If you don't mind digging them up and playing in bars and playing in fire companies.
Yeah. So as you mentioned your music store too, I think from what I know that has been a big part of you being part of the music scene is being somebody that provides musical instruments to people in Berks County. Right.
Well, it started out. I told you I was on the road with this band, The Uproar. After a year and a half, 2 years of that, I was really engrossed in I was a full-time professional musician, and I just realized, I don't know if this is such a good gig long-term, So I left that band and I came back to Reading. We started the Uncle Drew Band, and I thought, I had been teaching at a local music store, and it wasn't run very well. And when I was on the road, I would come back to Reading and try and buy supplies, and there were like 5 music stores, and nobody had the good. Nobody had the cool stuff. Mm-hmm. They were like all like old-fashioned stores with like accordions and stuff, Mm-hmm. And I just thought to myself, man, I could do this better. So I actually rented a room for $35 and hung my spare guitar on the wall and started the store. And I got to tell you, that store was a crossroads for all the rock and roll musicians in town. Mm-hmm. I mean, they congregated in there. Mm-hmm. It was up on North 9th Street for many years, for 13 years. Mm-hmm. And the original store on North 9th Street really was a congregating place because all these people were playing. All the clubs were open every night. So the bands played from 10 to 2 every single night of the week. You probably never saw that. But trust me. So during the day, we'd all get up at like noon and I had the store open and guys would just be in and out all day long, you know. So a lot of people got to know each other, I think, through that store. I really think that store was, not to blow my own horn. I'll separate myself from the store a little bit, but the store was really a part of the rock and roll history in this town. Mm-hmm. And people came to me because I had been on the road. I told you I was a pretty accomplished guitar player. Mm-hmm. I came back in Uncle Drew, so I left maybe playing at this level and came back at this level. And that brought guitar players in, because I could show them stuff and I could show them the gear. I knew I was out on the road, so I knew what gear was being used, what the hot guitar was, what the hot amp was. Mm-hmm. I think that's what really got it going. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely.
But it was a cool little store. It was 888 square feet on 140 North 9th. Jam packed with very cool stuff.
Yeah, well, thank you for all of your contributions to Berks County's music scene. We really probably wouldn't be what it is without you.
Well, thank you to you and to the History Center and everybody involved for sort of adding some timelessness, maybe. Mm-hmm. Our legacies. I see me and all my buddies' pictures here, and there's a lot more. Really a big music scene.
That's a
the 70s. Yeah. In the 70s and the 80s, really tremendous music scene around here. So, I don't know. I hope these videos work out for you. I'm sure the guys really contributed a lot. Mm-hmm. And thanks again. Like I say, the History Center, really doing a pretty cool thing. It's no longer that dusty old thing that we all thought it was, So,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.